Hello guys, hope you're all okay today. Sorry I haven't posted for a while. I did the Great North Run last Sunday, so I was buggered from that there on the Monday. Really good fun though. And then basically decided to work 6 days on the bounce, which I work 24-hour call out. I do shift work, and I had a couple of bad nights at work, and it just turns you into a zombie. So yeah, I don't know whether you can tell the bags under my eyes, but yeah, it's been a rough 6 days. So I've got a day off today, so I thought I'd do a post. Still being active though in between shifts. I've been working on this bad boy. Said I was going to do either Redemptor or the Primaris Lieutenant. Well, it's a Redemptor. Bit fiddly to make, I thought. Instructions were great. Obviously I've just got to finish off his weapon arm. But yeah, he's just doing some basing as well to just make his base more interesting. And so today I'm going to be doing the basically showing you the Warlords edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, just the differences between that and the normal edition, and then just talking about a few little rules, what's the differences between the old edition and the new edition, and just some general discussion about how you feel about the editions and such. But before I do anything else, I'd just like to do a couple of shout outs because, as I say, it has been a rough week. I've been really tired, and in between assembling my Redemptor, I've been listening to watching a few YouTube videos, and so I just want to give a few shout outs. The first one I've got to say is to Kuja and Kiwi. I've been basically going back rolling on all your all the stuff you've put up, and I've been loving it. I think it's really good as well, because sometimes if if somebody puts a painting guide up, or somebody puts how to do this, and you're actually doing your hobby, a lot of the time you're having to look up, you're having to sometimes it takes focus away from what you're actually doing. And with the case of you, Kuja and Kiwi, I've been able to just listen. It's almost been like a podcast, so just talking about stuff in general, and I've really enjoyed it. So, cheers for that. Also, the Nerd Life again. I've been listening to you, just talking in general, and I hope you put some posts up soon. 'Cause I haven't heard from you in a while. So looking forward to hearing from you, mate. I've got to say, obviously, a massive shout out to Bazza at Underdog Painting, just because you're classmate, and you've done some shout outs for me, and you've tried to get me some subscriptions, and I really do appreciate it. So your Tyrannid commission is looking brilliant, mate, and I can't believe that you're doing the Goblin Army. The Goblin leader you've got is the exact one I've got, and we're both painting red Goblin armies. Spooky, but yeah, that'd be interesting, to be honest, just to see how different painting styles. Unfortunately, I've got other stuff I have to paint before that, but it'd be interesting to match him up one day. IDIC Beer, or IDIC Beer, Nick there, been watching loads of your stuff again, mate. Your knowledge is superb, just great videos, and I'm going to be basically, one of the things you said the other day really resonated with me, which was when you're saying how fast GW are launching stuff lately, and it's unbelievable. I don't actually know where they think we get the money from, because obviously they're not cheap, and they're just launching stacks, and I'm really into the hobby. So I do play Sigmar, I do play 40k. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's a brilliant thing, but unfortunately, financially wise, my wife does it Sigmar and 40k, and my son does Sigmar and 40k. So when they're bringing stuff out, you buying. I'm having to buy 3 times round half the time. So yeah, thankfully I've saved up. You know, I'm fairly decent at saving, so we have a little pocket money pot to pay for things like that. Yeah, so I'll just see if there's anyone else. Yeah, Warmer Will, mate, you were the guy that's got me like posting stuff on the channel, just doing your basically Taylor 4 Gamers. So big thanks to you, mate. I love everything that Warmer Will does. He's brilliant. His back reps are brilliant. Just he's got a great voice to listen to just relax, and you know, when he's doing his painting guides and that, he's a great guy. Frost and Fist, I've come to you through Kuja and Kiwi, and again, brilliant set of lads. Love the stuff you're doing. I can't remember the name of it now, but I love your little the taco thing. That was hilarious. So yeah, loving your stuff, guys. And basic miniature painting as well, mate. Just the thing I love about all, you know, the channels I'm following, I just love the enthusiasm. You can just see that there's no like sort of big, you know, graphical, you know, displays, and it's just guys in general. It's just guys who love the hobby, and just want to put stuff out there, and it's brilliant. And as I say, when I'm doing stuff, I'm sat by myself, or, you know, or the wife might be wherever, but it's just lovely to feel like you're almost sat with a community when you're watching these while you're doing stuff, and it's really great, guys. So just keep up the great work, and if any of you want to start following me, if you already haven't, you know, it's all down there. So yeah, that's my shout outs. So I just want to tell you as well what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks or days or whatever, depending on work, 'cause I'm back to work tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing basically a beginner's guide to dungeon mastering and a beginner's guide to becoming a player character. I've been role playing, I've said on some of my previous posts, for a very long time. I'm sort of doing more wargaming now, but I'm primarily a role player. I was primarily a role player. Sort of the sort of ran parallel, but role play was, you know, a little bit more in the forefront. And I've got a lot of experience about doing it, and I'd like to think I'm more a player than I am a DM. But I'd like to think in both instances, people have said that I'm good at both. So it's just beginner's guides for anyone who hasn't done it before and fancies doing it, and just a few tips and tricks to make both being a player and a DM easier down the line. Obviously the Redemptor's going to be, I'm going to finish him today, finish assembling him, and then there'll be a painting tutorial on him. So, but he'll probably be a week and a half away, 2 weeks away, depending on work. So, but he's going to get painted up, and I'm going to try and speed up a little bit, do a bit of ×2 camera speeds and things like that, just to make it a bit smoother, speed it up a bit more. Let's have a look. And yeah, I think that's about it basically. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to show you what's actually in the Warlords edition, and then we'll just talk through it and just have a bit of general discussion about Sigmar in general. So I'll be back in a minute, guys. Okay guys, welcome back. So the first thing I'm going to show you, the actual thing comes in this snazzy little, well, I say snazzy, basically cardboard protective casing. And what you get in it. So you get the 2017 General's Handbook. It is what it is. We'll go into that a bit more, but it's not much different to the previous General's Handbook. You get a load of these push-out tiles, objective markers, star markers, then you've got your battle shocks there. I mean, you can make these yourself anyway, but they're just, you know, the nice things to have. Summoner rulers, again, they're just little tidbits that are going to, you know, you can use them if you want to use them. Inspiring presence and mystic shields, just handy little things to have, really. you get the Pitch Battle Army roster. You can actually get this online as a PDF download, and I think it's the Games Workshop actually make it available. They might not have now they've done this, but I think they still do. Best thing to do with that, instead of using all of these, you just put that onto a scanner, make a load of copies, and then you're not having to use these. I mean, you get absolutely stacks of them, to be honest. If you look at the thickness of that, you do get stacks of them, but personally I'd rather save that and just print some out myself. The really good things in this that I found really liked about it is, the first one is the turn number. I mean, that's, forget Age of Sigmar, that's just handy in general. You know, how many times have you played a battle report and whose turn is it, and it's just, I mean, you can do it with dice, but I just think it's really good. I really like that. Probably the best thing I like about it, to be honest. You know, obviously you do your turns. Just really good, like that. The other one that, again, really handy, but also for 40k you could use if you wanted, is the victory points. So that, I think that's really good as well. So they're for me, they're the best things in it, to be honest. You've got your little box of cards. These are all like different things. Coalitions of Death, Triumph and Treachery, and then like just basically gives you all your details on there, so just easy to have for management, just so you're not having to flick through books and that. Just get them back in there. And then another good thing about it, in this snazzy little sleeve, tells you what you know, for what missions and stuff, pitch battles, etc. And it just has all your missions, and it's just, you know, you can pick your mission, you've got that on the table. Again, you've got all your victory conditions, you know, and I just think that's really decent, to be honest. The actual book itself, as I say, it's a bit like the last edition, but I thought the last edition was done really well. Really good quality book. So you've got all your usual stuff, you know, your great artwork, got all your, you know, your big diorama pictures. And obviously you've got all your new rules as well, which we'll sort of have a little chat about now. But that's basically what you get in the Warlords edition. I'll do a big overview of everything in 1 second, so bear with me, guys. So there it is in all its glory, guys. £45 as opposed to 25. For me, I don't think that's bad. It's pricey, but you know, £25 for the General's Handbook's pricey. So for the extra £20 for what you get, for me personally, I'm glad I paid the extra money. Okay. Right, guys. So let's just have a little talk about the actual changes in the edition, and we'll just go straight to match play, because I think that's what most people play, to be honest. So the biggest change to me is the difference in the allies, and I think it's really good. I think it's really good what they've done. The only problem I have with it is this sort of thing they have about, basically you've got the Stormcast Eternals can ally with anyone, and then this bizarre sort of thing where they've basically done the dwarves in the Ironworld Arsenal, and you know, the Empire gunners and Empire war machines in the Ironworld I think they're in the World Arsenal. Let's have a quick look. And it's just ridiculous, you know. So the most you can take if you host a 2,500 point game in Allies is 500 points, right? So a dwarf cannon is something like 180. I'll just go to the actual points. I'm pretty sure a dwarf cannon. So it's either 180 or 160, something like that. And an organ gun's about 120. So let's have a look. There we go. World Arsenal. 180, right? So let's say most people would battle with a 2,000 points army. So that gives you 400 points of allies. So basically, for that, you're getting, let's say you pick a cannon, that's 180 points. You'd get, let's say, a cogsmith, which is basically the dwarven engineer. That's another 100 points, that's 280 points, and then you wouldn't be able to take another cannon, you'd have to take an organ gun or something like that, or so that's another 120 points. There's your 400 points. Now, it's just ridiculous. I mean, dwarves are artillery pieces, it's the way it's always been, and to sort of segregate it into the Iron World Arsenals, they did it in the previous edition. And I know it's throughout the board with all the older armies, and it just really grates on me because, you know, I'm buying all the new edition stuff, and we all know GW are a business, they're trying to sell new models, but don't dump on like your older players who've got the previous armies. I bought the engineer recently, the dwarf engineer. I think he's called Grim Berlichson. I bought it because of his abilities. He's got some great abilities, named character, and they've suddenly in the new edition changed him to the revised war scroll. He's just a cogsmith, and you just think. And at the same time, they're bringing out characters in the likes of Blightwar and things like that, named characters with all these abilities, and I'm just like, I just think to myself, why are you doing it? Yeah, bring these people, bring these new editions out, and I mean, I'll be buying Blightwar somewhere down the line. I don't want anything else to paint, to be honest. But why can't you do it hand in hand? Why do you have to dump on your older players? I know the Skaven named characters have been absolutely crucified, and they're bringing novels out with these named characters in, and then they're just scrapping them from the actual game. So the only thing I can advise with that personally is talk to whoever you're playing with if you're just in a gaming club and say, look, try and work out if it's, you know, say an engineer's 100 points and it might have been a bit more or whatever, just say, look, can I just pay the extra points to have him as he was, you know. I mean, I play at home, I don't play competitively or anything like that, so for me personally, the Iron World Arsenal, the dwarven side of it, is they're in the dispossessed, they are dwarves, so there's no allies points cost to them. They're just that is part of the dwarf army. And then I've got 400 points in a 2,000 point battle. I've got 400 points to spend on Stormcast or whatever. So just don't, if you are doing it at home or you are doing it at a club and it's not not following the GW rules, not adhering to them as strictly, don't feel so restricted. Don't feel like you have to follow this Games Workshop rule to the actual letter, because, you know, I love GW. I've got thousands of figures. I've got all of the stuff in them, all of the books and everything. But they are a business. You can tell they're a business. And when Wizard bought Dungeons and Dragons out, it became a business. You could see it wasn't for the love of the hobby. It was for the love of making a profit, with a bit of love for the hobby thrown in. I don't think GW is as bad as that. You can tell people love what they do, but the big wigs up top are there to make money, aren't they? So again, this daft thing of you know, you might have 6 models, but you have to pay the full 10 model point cost. Absolute garbage, right? It individually lists each model's price, right? So there's no way am I going to say to my son, oh sorry, you've only got 5 dwarf miners, you have to pay the full 10 points cost for him. It's just garbage. You just find up the cost of the model and times it by the amount you've got. You know, my son's Thunderers and my Thunderers, he only has 15 because they're hard to get hold of. So he's got 15, so it's 15 models worth of points. And like I say, he's got an array of, he's got 2 cannons, 2 organ guns, and a gyro bomber, I think it is, and I've done like a converted flame cannon. So if he wants to field all of them, he's fielding all of them. There's no, you know, and it's part of the dwarf army. And then if he wants to stick in a few Stormcast Eternals, that'll be his allies. I just wish they'd give the heads a shake sometimes. That's my main only gripe with the Age of Sigmar stuff. Apart from the fact they blew the world up as well. That's for another day. Because the thing with I was going to say that I consider the Age of Sigmar realm just the old sort of like empire. You know, it hasn't been blown up. But I just wanted to say something about the bringing out an expansion called Firestorm, and that looks it looks really good, especially if you've got, I would say, like younger sort of like kids who you're trying to get into the hobby. I'll put a little image of it now. And yeah, it looks really good for sort of being organised and doing little campaigns, especially if, like you say, you've got younger kids and you're just doing it on a power level type thing or a narrative thing. That looks a really good thing. But as Idic B has said, they're just bombarding you with stuff. You've got the Death Guard coming out, which the models just look stunningly good. One of the plague drones it's got like a lawnmower type thing on the front. It's just hilarious. I'm desperate to buy the Death Guard models, but I'm like, you've got so much to paint already. Stop buying. So I'm holding off because it just brings so much stuff out. And let's face it, we're all big kids. The people who do this hobby, we're all big kids, aren't we? And you just want to like get your pocket money and go and spend it at the sweet shop. And it's exactly the same. You're grown up. You go to work, you work hard, and you just want to go and lavish it all on these lovely new models. And then you look and you go and you add it to the pile of figures that you have to paint, and you're like, what? When am I going to get it painted? So yeah, I'm really like biting my teeth to not go and just get the new Death Guard models and the new stuff they bring up, like Blight War, things like that. Some really good stuff, but stop bringing it out so fast because it's hard for us to not buy it. Yeah, so that was what Nick had said from Idic B. They're saturating the market so much, you're almost like diluting it a bit, but it's great, but just wish they'd slow it down a bit. And just going into that again, I do wish that they would. That's my main only gripe about the actual Age of Sigmar in general. I do wish they would just like roll back to some of the older, like bring out a new line of dwarves. People. It's like nostalgia. People would go out, wouldn't they? I mean, let's face it. If you've got a dwarf army, collectors out there, or an elven army, or an imperial army, or Bretonnian. I mean, I still don't understand. It must be a copyright thing or something. Why they haven't done anything with the Bretonnians. I mean, I would seriously splurge on a Bretonnian army. I've got the basic roots to one now. I'd love to sort of paint up all the horses with the heraldry. I mean, you could really go to town on that. You could do some good research, get your family. I've already done it I've got some like Quester nights and things like that, and I've found out my family heraldry, and a great thing to do. But yeah, overall, all I'm going to say about it is the 2017 General's Handbook is just be, unless you're going to a tournament, there's nothing I can do about that. If you're going to an official tournament or, you know, an organised tournament where they adhere to the rules, there's nothing I can do about that. But if you're just playing it at home, you don't have to conform to these rules. Just have a look what's sensible, and then use the allies section, because that's the main thing, the allies section, and also the new allegiance abilities. The allegiance abilities are excellent. I'll give you an example of the allegiance abilities. Let's have a look. So you've got grudge bound, stubborn to the end, battle trait, right? Stubborn to the end. The dispossessed are renowned for their refusal to admit defeat, especially in the face of overwhelming odds. If you roll a 1, 2 or 3 when taking a battle shock test for a dispossessed unit, that unit stubbornly refuses to yield and is treated as having passed the battle shock test, irrespective of any modifiers to their bravery or the number of casualties they have suffered that turn. I mean, that is, for dwarves, that's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know, if you can hold your own, if you can weather the storm, again, you know, like let's say like a load of ogres charge you, if you can weather that storm, you can imagine it in your head, these dwarves just hunkering behind the shields, brilliant. So it's a really good addition, really good revision, but just don't think you have to adhere to the whole rules. I'm not going to go through all of the things, because people who've played it, they don't need me to teach them to suck eggs. Mine's mainly about, you know, as being a long-term player and a long-term just player of the nerdy, geeky hobby in general. You don't have to adhere to these things, you know. They're there to make money. If you've only got five models, say you have to pay for 10, you're basically going to want to have the edge to go out and buy the other 5 if you have to pay the points for it. That makes GW your money. That's what they're there for. So just ignore it. Work out the points. Get them on the table. Anyway, so that's the Warlords edition in a nutshell, guys. It's not as... I've just uploaded this off the cuff type of thing, because I haven't posted in a while, so it's not as... You know, it's off the cuff type of thing. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a few videos in the days to come, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again, guys. If you like the channel, subscribe, like it, and I'm looking forward to seeing all your videos as well. So yeah, I'll talk to you soon, guys. See you later. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I hope some of the stuff is handy that I've waffled on about. I hope it helps you. And if you like the channel, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And look forward to watching you guys, all your channels, all your posts coming up. And yeah, I'll see you next time, guys. Take care. Bye bye.